everybody, World Avengers here from World Avengers, called Bootspur. My name is Bootspur, not World Avengers.
How do we pronounce this ranger's name? Emile Dubois is how I'd say it.
No, that would be incorrect.
Damn.
This ranger's name is Amélie.
Amélie Dubois.
Amélie Dubois.
Dubois. I got that right?
Yeah, that's close enough. And how do you pronounce your name exactly?
Counselor.
Counselor.
Yak.
Yeah.
This name I stole from an NPC that already exists in the game, who happens to be a douchebag.
So a significant amount of our banter was cut. So we're just gonna go right ahead to the build now.
Okay, great.
and so actually no. I'm gonna talk about what have we done so far in Boots Bad Builds.
We have done one of every class except Ranger.
That's right. So Ranger's last. Why is that?
Because Ranger is just overall really, really strong.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you could, like, you can put anything on a Ranger and it works really well.
Exactly.
Like,
so,
this skill
why
hit...
would I make a bad build for it when I can't literally make a bad build for it?
Yeah. I mean, they clearly, in the way of their shouts especially, have the best utilities in the game, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm running Bear.
Oh god, what are you doing on this? You've got a hawk, I can see this. Do you have a
bear
pet? What's your other pet? Oh my god. No, I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to be nice about it. Alright, I'm sure you've got something unique and special that works. Just like the warrior build.
Right. So it's actually a little bit too much like the warrior build.
Oh my god. Okay.
Okay, now listen here. So what have we done? We've got, first thing first was the Guardian, and it was a defensive but strong build. Then we had...
So, supposedly, yes.
Yeah, shut up. Then we had the warrior build, which ran like it stacked up 25 might really fast for yourself and did a lot of damage with that might, and it was just it was a hybrid build that did a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had the Elementalist, which was a crazy power burst build.
Okay.
Then I forget what. Thief. It was an attrition Condi build.
Mm-hmm. Dodgy build. Dodgy
attrition Condi build. Then it was I can't remember anymore.
Necro?
No. Mesmer maybe?
Alright, Mesmer. You did Boon Duration.
Necro, we did sort of a tanky Life Siphon fun build that did a lot of damage.
The best build on the whole series.
Whatever. Which is going to actually be fantastic when Specializations comes out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
It's going to be really good. But it's not going to be exactly what it is anymore. It's going to be different.
Yeah.
And then Engineer.
Which was a downstate. I actually did enjoy the NG. I think anything that... The ones where you use weird runes are cool. I'll say that much.
I agree. And this build is filling a hole that wasn't apparent in all the other ones. Although it is using something from a previous build because I like it so much and it makes it work. Okay. Shut up. It is borrowing from a previous build. It is doing something... Was that a dice?
Yeah, no, that was... I have change all over my desk, and I was leaning forward, and one of them stuck to my arm, so as I lifted my arm up, a coin fell off it, and then fell on the desk.
Are you, like, covered in a moist layer?
No, but it is very hot in here right now. It only moved up, like, a quarter of an inch, maybe, and then fell back on the desk.
Sweaty wooden potatoes.
I'm not sweaty, it's just... Dude, you can push your, like... I'd have to tell you the bit of your arm. Look, go ahead.
Right, so it fills a void that I haven't come up with yet, and that is, I am making a Condi Burst Ranger.
Condi Burst?
Condi Burst.
So, I am expecting all the damaging Condis going on very quickly and in high stacks.
That is the intention, yes.
Does it account for changes after the patch where Condis...
In fact, okay, listen to this. It's gonna be amazing after the patch.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of the Condi change, or because of the specialization?
Because of the fact that the Condis are going up to you go past 25 stacks.
Okay.
Oh, bleeding, that is.
So we're putting a lot of bleed on.
That's right. And it'll literally just get better after the patch. Right now, right now I'm using offhand torch just so that I even out the Condi damage because I'm stacking so many bleeds and I don't need to stack any more bleeds. If I hadn't had Condi torch, I would be using... anyway, I'll tell you about that later.
Have you theoretically worked out how many bleeds you can get?
Theoretically, yes.
How high is that number?
I think it's... What was it again? It was like 40 something.
40 stacks of bleed?
Yeah, 40 something stacks of bleeds in the first like 5 seconds.
In 5 seconds? Well, that's pretty cool. All right, I'm ready. Let's see.
Okay, so the problem with this build is it's going against what I wanted to do for my ranger as the last build. To sort of as a protest against specializations, I wanted to go like 15, 15, 15, 15,
Right.
15, 10.
Which will be impossible.
Which would be... No, but the thing is with a ranger, that actually works, that build. Because ranger, their 15s are all so good. Except for one
3s now, right?
The 3s, yeah, sorry, 3s. Except for alpha training, all the other ones are so good. So that was actually a really good build, and I wanted to show it to you, but it was going to get destroyed after the specialization change. So I wanted to instead do something that will work after the specialization change. And besides the Condi change, the spec change will also make this build way better. We'll talk about that later, though, too.
Okay.
But for now, we shall talk about what it is.
All right, I'm ready. I've got my traits open. Do you want to start traits? Runes? What?
Runes, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and say... this is the thing that borrows from another build. And the rune set is... Oh, I gotta use my PvP stuff.
I know what's coming.
Mad King runes.
Alright,
Runes of the Mad King. So Mad King runes basically copies a ranger skill, which is the Hunter's Call.
Okay, wait. So to be clear, you're running a Condi build with power stats on there.
It's got plus 5% Condi duration and plus 15%
Alright, okay,
duration,
so we're getting...
and plus 20% additional bleeding duration.
So they are bleeds, right, okay.
Yeah, it's getting 40% extra bleed duration.
Okay, yeah, alright.
Alright, and then you summon Ravens to attack, which copies Hunter's Call, which is 16 hits. Actually, I thought it was 14 at first. But
Wait. Teach the newbies. So the T6. Show people the T6 first.
T6. Okay, so if I use my elite skill, it does summons ravens to attack nearby enemies when you activate an elite skill.
Okay.
And just to let you know, although this says call hawks to swarm a foe, it copies Hunter's Call, but in such a way as that you don't actually have to target your enemies. It picks them for you.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it does 3 instead of 1. It attacks 3 different enemies.
Okay, so it's an AoE Warhorn 4 for the Ranger.
Exactly. So, like, if I use my elite skill here, it'll hit all 3 of these guys 16 hits. We'll do that right now, and look at it go.
That's pretty impressive. And, very importantly too, each of their hits applies a stack of bleed.
Well, not necessarily, but I'll get into that soon. That's from traits.
Okay, alright.
So that is the rune. Very powerful for this build. I like it a lot. And we'll go over equipment later, but let's go straight to the traits.
Okay.
I'm running 4-6-4-0-0. So in Marksmanship, I've got Sharpening Stone, Keen Edge, Sharpening Stone. You
got Condi duration as well. From the line.
Yeah, well, first of all, yeah, that's the important thing, Condi duration.
So wait, your bleed duration is at 40, 50, 60. So you're getting 60% longer bleeds. If you ran Koi Cake in PvE, that would put it to the cap of 100%?
That would bring it to the cap of 100%. And in PvP, I'm running Sigil of Agony instead.
Okay.
So it brings it up to 80 at least.
Ah, dude, I like that Koi Cake thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. So with the Koi Cake, it'll bring it right up to 100. You won't need to run Signet of Agony anymore, and you can run whatever else you want. Probably...
I like this too much already. I'm seeing so many little things. As bad as this is going to end up being, okay, keep going.
So yeah, it's going to actually be better in World vs. World or PvE than it is in PvP. But in PvP, you replace your Koi Cake with a Signet of, Sigil of Agony. Oh, there's my food.
Wow, alright, wow, that was quick!
Take a break.
Yeah, Boots ordered pizza before the recording, so 1 moment. Hey, wow, what did you get on the pizza, by the way?
It is a 3-cheese pizza. It's got blue cheese, I think provolone, and...
Provolone. You're so French, it's unbelievable.
What?
What is that? What's provolone?
Provolone? That's not French.
Well, you said it with an accent.
I hate everything with that accent. You say everything with that accent.
You're eating already! What is this?
Okay, back. No more eating.
Alright, you were talking about keen edge in case you lost your train of thought.
Right. So keen edge. When something hits 75% health, basically I use a sharpening stone, which does 5 extra stacks of bleeds, which are pretty long bleeds, 10.5 seconds.
Yeah, that's quite long.
And so that's 5 stacks of bleeds right there.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have Spotter to give precision to myself and my little pet. Then in Skirmishing, I've got only minor traits.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, alright, let's do it then.
Okay.
Probably the most important thing on the build I can see already in the first slot.
Is Sharpened Edges, number 2.
Yes.
60%. This is different from the Warrior one. It's a shorter duration than the Warrior one. It's very similar to the Warrior one. The Warrior one is 33% chance on critical.
But longer duration.
Longer duration bleed. This is 66% chance on critical, shorter duration bleed. So it is a very short duration bleed, but it works better as a burst damage thing.
I see why you came to the burst idea, certainly.
Exactly, because the Warrior won't be able to, like, you could probably try to do a Condi burst on a Warrior, which would work, I guess, with a sword, with, like, Flurry.
Yeah.
But it's only on a 33% chance on a critical, which is much lower. It's not quite as good.
Yeah.
Then we got Companion's Might, number 5.
Really? This is the best you can do?
What do you mean? Give my bird 25 stacks of might?
Okay, but like, what weapons are you running?
Your face.
Wow. Okay. Sure. All right.
Wait, what do you mean?
Give it might.
Okay.
Okay.
And then Pet's Prowess. Pets deal more damage on critical hits.
Okay. Why with the pet stuff?
Because your pet stuff is your pet's pretty strong in this build too. Okay. When your pet does 25% extra damage and has crazy critical chance and has 25 stacks of might, your pet's going to be doing a lot of damage on top of your burst.
Okay, and the point is the companion's might is pretty cool as well, right? Because it's stacking tons of might from all the bird hits.
Exactly. Your pet will have 25 stacks of might, and the thing is, right now before specializations, Condi burst has a limit.
Mm-hmm.
So you could only have 25 stacks of might, your fire on the guy, and a poison on the guy, and some torment maybe if you could find torment from somewhere, but you're not going to be able to really find it in very many places.
Mm-hmm.
That is your maximum damage. So if you're getting that already, the burst won't happen anymore. There will be no extra damage to the burst.
So right now it's worth. I see what you're saying, yeah.
At least right now it's worth, because while your Condi burst is happening, your pet is also doing massive damage because of its 25 stacks of might and an extra 30% critical damage. Then in Wilderness Survival, I got Wilderness Knowledge reduces recharge on survival skills.
Okay.
And Offhand Training reduces recharge on offhand skills. Offhand skills have longer range.
Okay.
And that is basically the basis of it. So the weapon skills are important too. I have an axe, warhorn, and sword, torch.
Okay.
And that gives you your full spread of Condis.
Okay, because you have poison on the sword, and burning on the torch, and immense bleeds on the warhorn.
And also immense bleeds on your axe.
Oh, and axe main hand. Yes, you're right. True. Yeah.
Yeah, you get 5 stacks of 10-second duration bleeding, and when your sharpening stone is already on that, it's 10 stacks. And if he's at 75% health, just that skill gives 15 stacks of bleeding.
Okay.
And of course, your entangle does quite a bit of damage. So your utility skills are right now they're all survival skills, which after the patch is going to be fantastic because I think that the survival trait is being moved into wilderness survival.
Okay.
So you will be able to pick that up, and all of your survival skills will be removing conditions.
Which is going to be quite nice. So what stat set are you running?
I am running Rabid ammo.
Rabid.
Yeah, for extra precision and extra Condi damage.
Yeah, Condi main stat as well, important. Yeah, I think Rabid's pretty much a good set.
Because
either that or in PvE, Sinister's going to be better.
Yeah, for sure. Sinister would be better, But for here, it's not so bad because your power doesn't affect what your pet does anyway.
Okay.
Unless I'm wrong about that. I'm pretty sure your...
No, yeah, your power doesn't. No, each pet has different stats.
Exactly, they have their own stats. Yeah. So, me, I'm going to concentrate on doing the Condi damage, and my pet, that guy, is going to be doing the damage. So, also, this bird has a theme... this build has a theme to it. I may have shown my hand already.
Pinged. It's because I have the hawk pinged, that's all it is.
That's what it is, yeah. So, yeah, the build has a theme. It's called... Oh god, the birds! Why did it have to be birds?
Okay, right.
So it's got a hawk. At first I was also using a crow, but now I'm using a lynx because it does more bleeds, but I'm gonna go back to crow.
Dude, what I quite like about that...
Raven, I mean.
What's weird about that is it's like you're entangle... Oh, I love entangle with this, okay? The reason I really like it is because... it's a mobbing people. Like the big counter to Warhorn 4 or the friggin' Mad King rune is you just dodge roll and you just get billions of evades and it's fine. But Entangle is putting a mob on at the same time and it's bleeding at the same time as well.
And it's bleeding at the same time, and it's of course like it in itself. Just using Entangle is putting massive bleeds on the guy.
Yeah, and it's unblockable too. So like there's a lot it's got going for it.
So like, I mean, I'm not going to do it, but if you just use the Entangle, you're locking down 3 guys. The guys who you're not targeting are going to get... Actually, no, they're all going to have about 14 stacks of bleeding on them.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's really cool. It's kind of like you're turning Entangle into like an AoE Nuki style feeling. Like, that killed the light golem. Like, that was really cool. It was really cool, and all I did was pop that.
Exactly.
But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll try it out now, just to show you the stuff. You gotta put on your
Fury
first. Gotta get your Fury, and you pop your Sharpening Stone. Easy stuff.
I'm watching your bird, by the way, to see its might.
Okay, and I'll do this fast because the
11,
problem
12,
is
13.15. He's at 25 might right now.
You should also yeah. So the bird's having some fun. So you want to just quickly calculate how many bleeds you could get in a short duration?
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that.
Okay, so if you're going Sinister...
Is this max? Is it? Let's assume that you get the 66%
This is obviously not max because I am currently in PvP. If we were doing World vs. World.
Alright, let's pretend, though, that 66% chance to proc with the bleed is 100%.
Why would that...
The theoretical cap of the bleeds.
No, that's not the theoretical cap.
What do you mean?
The theoretical cap is 66%.
Alright, okay, fine. Well, no, because if you get lucky...
No.
On all of the individual hits, it could go higher.
Sharpened edges, chance to cause bleeding and critical hits is 66%.
Yes, so basically what I'm saying is, what if you got really lucky and every single crit
no,
put the bleed on?
No,
that's the theoretical cap. That is.
No, we can't do that. You're like laughing in the face of the RNG gods.
It's the theoretical cap, Boots.
Fine. But I'm not happy about it.
And then we'll knock off like 10 to 15 bleeds after it's over. And
people will be like, you guys are idiots.
Look, it is theoretically possible to put how many bleeds?
Alright, fine. Okay, fine.
Alright.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's do that then. Then I'm going off of my Raven and putting on the stupid links. Fine. Okay, here we go. Entangle. 5 stacks of bleeds. Plus 16 stacks of bleeds. 21. Sharpening Stone, another 5 stacks.
26.
The traded Sharpening Stone, another 5 stacks.
31.
Then we've got your Link's Jump, which is another 4 stacks.
Okay, 20. Wait, what? 35?
That is.
Yeah, it's 35.
35,
we were just on
yeah.
30. Yeah. Going in.
And then your pet's auto attack might do 4 stacks of bleeds on top of that.
Okay, so 39.
And then where are we now?
Axe 2.
Oh yeah, Axe 2. That's another 5.
Okay, have you already counted the birds?
I did not count the normal birds.
Yeah. Okay, so count. Wait. So what are we at? 49 right now?
We are at 44.
Oh, okay.
Plus
including
the normal
the axe?
birds, including the axe.
Okay.
Plus the normal birds, which would be an additional... Oh, wait a second. No, I forgot. Okay, well, the normal birds would be an additional 16, so that would be 60 total.
Yeah, 60 stacks.
But we forgot that while attacking, the birds, every attack you do besides these attacks, if it's a crit, is another bleed.
Yeah, that's true.
So the split blade, the 5 stacks of bleeding, would actually be
10.
10 stacks, maybe.
Yeah.
And the birds we talked about.
So wait, that puts us to 65 then, if we count
Plus
that
another
as
10, because an entangle would do it also, because entangle does damage.
Okay. So
that'd be 70.
Yeah.
And you know what? Let's just leave it there. Don't get greedy.
Right. Okay. In theory, a 70 bleed combo. You're scared of advertising it as such, aren't you?
Yeah. And if we're not talking about caps here, instead of going lightning reflexes, I would change that to fire trap. Flame trap.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I would switch the torch to an offhand axe. And then click on my whirling defense, which is another 12 hits.
During QZ, I would hope.
During QZ. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Well, this guy just blocked a whole ton of my bleeds.
Exactly. But, I mean, that's another 12 hits of bleeds, so that would be 82 total.
That's quite a lot of bleeds, Boots.
82. And then, if we're talking about 5 seconds, actually, these bleeds last only 4 seconds, really. So we're talking 4 seconds of 80 bleeds. Times how much damage is each stack of bleed? I guess, let's not be greedy and say 100.
Okay.
Maybe 100, it goes up to 130 something. But let's say 100. 100 times 4, that's 400 times 80 is 4,000, 32,000 in 4 seconds. So it's not as good as my lightning, my elementalist burst.
But it's still pretty high, and it's a different variation. One thing I do kind of like about the idea of Condi bursting, I suppose, is that you would, like, you can say, oh, it'll be cleansed, but it was going to be gone in a couple of seconds anyway, you know, like the damage.
Yeah, like, have fun cleansing it. You're just going to get some more later on.
Well, or will you? That's the thing. I have a lot of reasons for why I think.
Oh god, no! No, this is the last one. You can't be mean.
I don't want to. Well, look, here's the thing. Like,
no, there's no thing.
I'm not very convinced. Okay,
this is the best build you have ever made. I have a feminine voice.
I think it's pretty brutal if someone manages to dodge roll the entangle.
Yeah.
Which people will. I think that's you. I seriously question your choice of weapons. Like, really? You're running axe? If you're on a Condi build for a ranger, why on earth are you not running short bow? There's even trait decisions you've made where it's like, oh, you could easily pick up the...
bow.
Yeah, short bow. It's got much more... Look, the burst is fine, okay? But if it doesn't manage to knock someone down, which I thoroughly don't believe it really will... You're gonna then struggle to have any kind of sustain at all, like damage or for yourself. The axe main hand is a terrible idea. I think if you ran short bow instead, you'd at least have like some extra evades. You'd have some ability to incapacitate people with a daze, perhaps. You'd also have consistent bleeds coming off on your auto. And hey, look, you get your poison there too, so you could even change
consistent bleeds with an axe. It's only on a 6-second cooldown.
Yeah, but it's a weird projectile thing that isn't gonna bleed everyone. Like, you have to shotgun it in someone's face, and if you're actually talking about this for World versus World or PvP, you're not going to be able to get Spitblade off very frequently. You're not. You might get someone with one of the stray axes as it flies off. Yeah, you are. I think maybe you can go like axe Warhorn, maybe, and then have short bow on the other set. But then you run into a huge problem of like missing the burns. Now, if we're talking about like burst, Condi burst, PvE, there is no place for it at all. There's no place for burst in the first place in PvE. Like, there's team burst by popping time warp and a ton of stuff. If the caps are removed and it's just better and quicker to do flat power there. So if you're talking about dungeons or anything like that, this is not going to be any good at all. Especially compared to, I mean, yes, at least it has spotter, so yeah, people feel kind of nice with that. But then, again, I want to sacrifice at least one of these slots here for friggin' Frost Spirit, which could be fine without the lightning reflexes. You don't really need the sustainy things. But if you're thinking about this for PvP, I really don't think you're going to land it that much. It's going to be very painful if someone ends up managing to dodge roll the entangle. And the traits just seem weak, dude. There is also no Sinister either. And yeah, I like that the pet ends up getting a lot of might, and you could end up getting some kind of a big hit coming out of it. But it's just the weapons are the biggest offense to me, I think.
I mean, you really think for this build, a short bow is not the way to go.
Yes, it is.
Why?
Because it's got so much more utility on it than a friggin' axe. The axe has just got nothing for you, dude. It's too close range, it's too clunky, it's too slow.
Okay,
it's
well
rubbish.
Maybe if I run Flame Trap, I could remove...
Yeah, and like with just one trap? And what are you, like, with your traits? You're so close to the trap trait, too, and you're not, like, going up for it.
Instead of... I guess so, I could...
You're taking pets deal more damage on crit instead of trap potency while running a trap. Really? Really?
Yeah.
I don't see the worth of it. I really don't. And the burn as well.
The pets. Gotta respect the pets.
For the build right now, putting 25 bleed on someone for a couple of seconds is not good enough. That is not going to do anywhere near enough damage. If you want to actually get a lot of like Condi bursts, you need that burn on there too. And yes, maybe you can drop the flame trap with the entangle, but there's a lot of stuff out there like cleansing fire or any of the guardian consecrations, any warrior shouts that are just going to very quickly cleanse and they're just going to walk away. All right, and you're gonna miss your split blade. They're not gonna get much duration on the flame trap. They're not gonna get much duration on the entangle. They're gonna dodge roll through a bunch of the birds, and then what have you got? You're running around with an axe, dude. You're running around with an axe or a sword, and the sword is nice. Don't get me wrong, but again, like for the whole Condi angle for the weapons you're running, I just cannot see this working in practice. And again, this will have to be a situation like with the engineer where you might actually have some decent footage rolling of it in action.
Probably not gonna happen.
But I don't see. I mean, I love the idea, okay, of like the game having like you've got entangle. I love the idea that you could actually build, like, through the Mad King runes and all these cool, like, decisions. Suddenly Entangle's this, like, giant nuke burst thing you would drop down on a ton of people. Like, it's cool. And I love, like, the fact that there's even a bit of a theme with the birds. But Arenanet haven't built a game where this works, I'm afraid. And there's other stuff.
But it will work when the change comes.
We will see. I would love to revisit this with the specialization change. I would love to, because it might have something.
It'll be amazing. Yeah, it's giving might to the pet.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, it is cool. And the bird's just going mental, just flying around all over the place. Look, you did all that damage to that god. It's fun. Maybe not viable. I would rather see this in World vs. World, where you can sinister it up and you can just catch people out with it. In fact, I'm very inspired to go try this in World vs. World.
You should. You should try this. And I just want to say it's a really huge difference from the spike burst of my Ellie. Because the spike burst of the Ellie, it's there to make sure the guy's dead before he realizes what's happening.
And this build, being killed by birds.
This build is making them realize what's happening to them. They have to know. They have to feel the fear of thousands of birds pecking away at their eyes.
I'm afraid, especially for right now, I think you're massively overestimating how much damage it does in the burst too. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Anyway, there you go. Thank you, man.
There you go. Thanks for a bad build for every profession. Will we be reconvening for Revenant one day?
Absolutely. And probably we'll be reconvening once Specializations come out.
Oh my goodness, really? I don't know if I can do a whole another 9 of them.
No, not a whole another 9. Only when I have good ones.
Okay, alright.
You don't know if you can do another whole... Thanks. I had a good time with you too in Potatoes. Thanks for... I don't think I could stand you for another 9 episodes.
It's the builds. Oh god, it's the builds.